Welcome to Greenway and Bar TV Sports live coverage from Capital Football NPL. It's Tuggeranong United versus Canberra Olympic. The top two, or two of the top two sides in the table here in Canberra at the moment. I'm Russ Gibbs, your commentator this afternoon. Joining me, Steve Forshall. Steve, last time we were at Greenway for Tuggeranong versus Cooma Tigers, the sun was out, it was shiny, it was a nice warm day. We were in short sleeves and shorts, and today, well, we've got this.
Yeah, completely changeable weather in Canberra at this moment. I mean, we've had an Indian summer with the April being really warm, but today winter has arrived with a vengeance. But it should help, in fact, in just slicking up the surface a bit, quicken up the surface a bit, and
maybe
there we go. That's me done. See ya.
And that's the end of the commentary today. We'll come back next week. That's a thunder and lightning flashing. I'm luckily here at Greenway. They've got a very large grandstand that we're in, so whether or not this will be a problem for players or whether this will delay our kickoff, I don't know. The thunder rolling around, that flash of lightning you would have seen beforehand. Steve, let's have a quick look back at what happened yesterday. Canberra FC continued their unbeaten start to the season. 2-0 win over Riverina Rhinos. Goals from Kofi Danning and Thomas James, but two late ones as well. And Riverina, we saw them last week against Monero, and again showing that they've got a decent side.
Certainly it's a result that people would have expected, FC being one of the favourites for this year's competition. But Riverina, obviously, coming off a 3-0 win at Monero last week, would have been confident that they might have got something out of the game, and it sounds like they've held out for quite some time, but had a disappointing cup result during the week, and that may well have impacted on them. Yeah,
they were beaten 1-0 at home by Monero Panthers in a reverse of the fixture we saw live last week. A late goal from Sam Smith putting the Panthers into the quarter-finals. The loss of Luke Santelin yesterday as well, being sent off with 12 minutes to go. The centre-forward didn't help them either, but they'll bounce back from that. They've got a big one next week. They're back in Canberra. They play Canberra Olympic, so it doesn't get any easier for them.
No, and that's 3 weekends in a row that they've had to travel, so I guess it gives them in the second half of the season a few home games in a row, which might just help save them if they do get some bad results in this run. But you know, that 2-0 against FC, I think they'd be reasonably happy with the performance, if not the result.
The other game played yesterday, Woden Western FC drew 1-1 with Gungahlin United. Jack Green gave United the lead, only for Alaid Yinka-Kahind to equalise for Woden Western. Good point again there for Woden Western, and the first point of the season for the Gunners. Yeah,
an interesting game that, because Woden have probably had a little bit of a difficult week in the administratively, so to go a goal down, and probably, you know, Jack Green is certainly deadly from set pieces, and I didn't see the game, but I'm anticipating it might have been a header. But to go a goal down and then fight back and get something out of the game, they'd have been delighted with that.
You don't want to touch on it too much, but administratively, like you say, I think there's been some stuff going on behind the scenes where Woden Western maybe dock some points, and that will negate their good start to the season, unfortunately for them. Obviously, that's not what we want to see in this sort of league at the moment.
No. Well, I mean, the point system has been in for a couple of seasons now, and people are well aware of it, but it is a little unfortunate, just as the NPL competition in Canberra starts to even out and become a really competitive league, that one team maybe, and we don't know for sure, but maybe suffering as a result of some administrative errors.
Looking ahead today as well as one other match this afternoon down at Nijong Oval. I'm sure the conditions, if they're like that down there, will be fairly miserable down in Nijong today. Tigers FC against Monero Panthers. We'll try and keep you abreast of that as the action goes on down there. But let's turn our attention to this one here at Greenway this afternoon. Steve, Tuggeranong United. Mitch Stevens took over in the off-season. He's come in, brought some new players in. Even in his wildest dreams, I don't imagine he would have thought there'd be 4 from 4 in going into this round 5 fixture.
No, they've had a wonderful start, haven't they? And it hasn't been against teams that you would have expected them to beat. Certainly against Belconnen, they were worthy winners, 2-0. They've beaten the Cooma Tigers, a perennial powerhouse in the local NPL, and today they get to take on the benchmark over the last 2 or 3 seasons in Olympic. And you know, it's not beyond the realms of possibility, if they get something out of this game, that you start marking them down as one of the favourites as we move forward towards the end of the season.
There's only 16 fixtures, of course, in the Premier League this season, and this will be 5 down after today. So, as you say, they get points out of this. There's 11 to go. Would take a big collapse for them not to make finals.
That's right. I think you know, they've built a really, really solid platform to launch themselves into a real challenge. If they can get something out of today's game, it keeps Olympic behind them. If they can beat Olympic, they increase the lead at the top of the table. And the way they've been playing, you'd have to give them a real chance. Olympic, of course, are no pushovers, and we'll certainly have something to say about that.
The only blot on their copybook, if you can call it a blot, because we don't know whether or not this result will be overturned, will be the cup loss to Woden Western, beaten here at this venue 2-1 with a injury time goal from Blaise Vlaslovsky for the Woden there. But obviously, if the scenario happens with Woden and the points deduction, obviously there'll be an appeal there about the cup. They may be reinstated. But even in that game, they look the better side for most of it.
Yeah. And I mean, they've been very consistent. I mean, it was a surprise result when they lost against Woden. Their form thus far has been first class, and there's no reason why they can't continue it. I think in the second half of the season everybody's going to get better, and the only risk I think to Tuggeranong sort of missing out on a top 2 or even top 4 berth is if they have reached a peak early and the other teams tend to go past them in the second half of the season.
Interesting team selections today. This is Tuggeranong out on your field, if you're not aware, in their famous green and white hoops that they've got on. Tom Paget, their centre forward, not available today, so that's a bit of a reshuffle for Mitch Stevens. And they'll miss Paget. His industry, his work rate, and his endeavour has been second to none in the first few rounds of the season. Yeah,
it certainly has been somebody that they can look to actually give them a little bit of momentum. He works hard up front, he leads the line well, he brings other people into play. Defensively he's strong, and he's capable of getting a goal. We saw him in the last time that we were here, we saw him get just reward for a really industrious game when he scored, I think, the 4th goal for Tuggeranong in a 4-2 win.
Looking at the Tuggeranong lineup, Rory Larkin will start up in goal. It's a 4-4-2. Andrew Slavic playing at right back, Regan Walsh and Matt King in the middle, Marco Guy at left back, Josip Jadric just ahead of Slavic on the right hand side, Shane Murray, John Chirek in midfield, Isose Hegi, who caused Belconnen all sorts of problems on the left hand side. Up front, Danny Sirkovsky and Mate Barisic. Barisic coming into the squad, being signed a couple of weeks ago from Gungahlin, from Belconnen rather. Took his chance well, scored a goal in his first game, and gets his reward today and gets an opportunity to shine.
Yeah, and I think as we were talking before we came on air that he's probably included in the side because he adds a little bit more defensive stability when they haven't got the ball. But he's a quality player on the ball. He'll add a little bit of an X factor to the Tuggeranong side, who are missing Paget, and not only Paget, but Cam Doherty, of course, has gone for the season, and they're still to bring back Sean Kitty. So it's a sort of makeshift back 4 with Slavic playing in one of the fullback spots, but no reason why they can't be competitive.
For those of you watching at home, this is Canberra Olympic walking on the field, but this isn't their first grade side. This is their under-16s that are going to pop off over to the other side and play on the other field. Your Canberra Olympics first grade side coming into your picture on the left there. We'll talk about them in just a second. Andrew Slavic played full-back for the last 2 league games and in the cup as well since we Doherty went down in that Tigers game, and he's done well there, and Mitch Stevens was saying in the week that he slotted into that position and offers a lot. Yeah, well, I think certainly he brings a lot of pace and aggression to the team, and there's no reason why he can't make a success of the switch to full-back. He'll still get forward, he'll still offer something in attack, and he's the sort of guy that everybody wants in the team because he does work so hard for the rest of the team. Canberra Olympic then, let's have a look at their lineup. Angelo Constantinu in goal, a 3-1-4-2 for Frank Keisha. Bernard Rene, Nathan Medjic and Nick Faust in their makeshift back 4, or back 3 rather. Daniel Corbataldo back though, in front of those defenders, which is a big boost for them. 4 in front of Daniel Corbataldo, that's Oliver Wiedeke out wide, Michael Reeve the other side, Robbie Katnach and Tom McLaughlin in the middle. Up front, Jeremy Habtemarian and Dom Giampaolo. So interesting, no recognised striker as such. No Nick Popovic, of course, he's injured, but the return of Corbataldo, a huge boost.
I think that could be where the game's won from an Olympic perspective. Corbataldo is the player that makes me like an Olympic tick. He does a lot of work protecting the back 3, but he also a very creative player, and his absences have certainly been noted with Olympic, although they've been getting the results, not with the same fluency as they've had in the past. And like you say, the absence of a true 9 make for an interesting watch, because Giampaolo tends to play a little higher, and Habtemarian is more naturally accustomed to playing in wider areas.
Both of them, though, with bags of skill and ability. Tell us a little bit about this back 3. Bernard Rene, Nathan Medjic, Nick Faust. Tuggeranong, I think, if they can get their wide players, Hegi, Jardrich running at those guys, they'll fancy themselves in those areas. Yes,
I think so. I think the back 3 obviously leave spaces in wide areas, and Tuggeranong do have the pace to actually cause problems in and behind the two fullbacks. There'll be a lot of emphasis on Reeves and Wiedeker doing defensive work when Tuggeranong are coming forward.
Well, we're just waiting for the match officials. The referee is Bruno Kell, assisted by Lasham Pereira and Delphina Dimoski. The two results from earlier today. In the NPL 18s, Canberra Olympic beat Tuggeranong 4-1, and in the NPL 20s there, I think it was 5-1 the final score. 5 or 6, maybe 5-1. Yeah. Olympic playing pretty well there. Shout out to Ben Townsley, who went in goal for the under 20s today, not normally a goalkeeper. And you could see that in the first couple of goals he conceded, Steve, but he did all right after that, didn't he?
Yeah, he pulled off one really, really good save, and he'll be talking about that over the next few dinners.
I'm sure he will. I'm sure his family won't hear the end of that one. It's a good stop as well. Nice deflective effort, diving to his left, plunging it around the post, which that man in the middle of the field, Angelo Constante, would have been proud of that one. Anyway, here come the match officials. It is pretty cold here now, isn't it? It's always quite nippy at Greenway, but the weather's coming. Not
the most pleasant conditions to be commentating on, but I think the players will appreciate it.
Yeah, the pitch is looking fairly rugged. Not as bad as we were here last time. There's only one set of lines now to worry about. The black lines of the playing field outside the oval.
They've removed the elephant and circle line.
Yeah, it was looking like a London subway map at one stage, wasn't it? So Canberra Olympic will be playing in the blue. I think Robbie Cadnach was asking where they've been, the officials. We're running a bit late, of course. 6 minutes late at the moment. It's probably 5-5 down in Nigel by now.
It could be.
Plenty of goals there, probably.
What are you anticipating out of that, Russ? The Nigel game? You thinking anything?
It's going to be difficult. I've seen Panthers a couple of times this season, and defensively they look reasonably solid. They had a bit of an off day against the Riverina Rhinos, didn't they, when we were there last week? A couple of uncharacteristic errors from their back four. It's going to be hard for them, but I think defensively as well, the Tigers were looking a bit shaky when they were here, weren't they? And they've conceded 8 goals in their first 2 matches.
Yeah, they actually started really well, didn't they? They were 2-0 up when we last saw them play here. Monero, when we saw them play the Riverina, were decidedly second best, so they've obviously gone away and put some things right, and maybe we'll get a goal fest, or it might be one of those where both teams can't score.
Well, Sam Smith took his goal very well in the week. I saw the video of that in Riverina. Very nice breakaway goal they scored there and struck it superbly first time into the bottom corner, put his team into the quarterfinals of the Cup. We will probably be bringing you some Westfield FFA Cup matches from the quarterfinal on, which would be great. Some midweek Bar TV stuff. That would be nice in the warmth of the Canberra winter, Steve.
Yeah, it should be lovely, because they're all midweek and night games, aren't they?
They are at the moment. And next week, I'm hearing that we're probably, for the men's, going to be on at Deakin Stadium on the Sunday. Canberra FC versus Tigers FC. Canberra FC, the only side we haven't covered yet, and they're doing very well. Be interesting to see how Paul Maycoll's got his troops going. He seems to have got to put a bit more fight back into that club this year, and they look hard to beat.
Well, certainly the first 3 games they've won, so Paul will be absolutely delighted with the start, and it's a matter of now finding consistency and kicking on.
As the rain sheets down, we get ready to start this one off. Canberra Olympics bench have decided that they're going to sit in the stands, and I can't blame them for that one. Tuggeranong's bench have some nice club umbrellas down there.
Lovely.
They've come prepared. They know what's happening at Greenway. So it'll be Daniel Sirkowski to get us underway. Reasonable start to life with Tuggeranong. Sirkowski, 3 goals including the cup one.
He's a real poacher, isn't he? He gets into the 6-yard box and tucks things away. And here we go.
So Tuggeranong attacking the goal to our left in this the first half. Here's Matt King. First touch for Rory Larkin. He'll send this one forward, looking for Asose Hegi, and you were at that Belconnen game, Steve, in midweek, where the other weekend rather, where Hegi caused the Blue Devils all sorts of problems.
Yeah, his pace. I mean, when he's on and he's using his pace to good effect, he's very, very difficult to stop. He does lack a bit of consistency, but against Belconnen he made one, scored one, so you can't ask for much more.
Gianpaolo comes to Reeve, to Faust, playing on this right-hand side of the back 3. Magic switches play, looking for Wiedeker. Enjoying an Indian summer himself. Yeah. Ollie Wiedeker, isn't he? Made a comeback this season.
Yeah, cemented a spot in the starting 11 when perhaps he might have been thinking he would have been a squad player at best, but he's done really well.
Yeah, runs his own PT business as well, so super fit. We'll see him running up and down the flank a lot today, I'd imagine. Here's Faust. Looking for Reeve, but that's read by Gaia.
Of course, Nicky Faust, a former Tuggeranong player, not long out of the Tuggeranong ranks.
Looking for Reeve. Comes from McLaughlin. Nice rob in the middle of the park by Murray. Tuggeranong will be hoping to get him on the ball as often as they can today. That was Slavic. It's a bit loose, but Murray's won it back.
Interesting contrast between the way Murray runs the midfield for Tuggeranong and the way Cole Bataldo does it for Olympic. Both very, very good on the ball. Both industrious and both can create.
Ihegi, his first run of the afternoon. Off he goes. Faust's pretty quick himself, though. And defends that one back to Constantinu, who can't find Reeve. Good battle that will be, I think, Faust and Ihegi.
Yeah. Know each other from as teammates from last year.
Very rapid, both of them. So it's a chance for Marco Gaia, perhaps, to launch this one into the danger zone. Finds Ihegi, and the foot was in there from Faust, and it's hoiked into the air by Magic. High up into the sky, missed. Chirek sends it back. Ihegi knocks it into the area. Shooting chance here, and it's just into the side netting. Good opportunity early on from Barisic.
Yeah. I mean, obviously a little bit of aerial ping pong there. Not the greatest clearance from Magic. He just put it high into the Tuggeranong sky. And, didn't really clear the box.
He just launched it straight out, didn't he? Caused a bit of problems for his own defence there, but they got away with it.
If it had gone much higher, it would have brought snow.
Feels like it might snow. Here's Rene. And Vidica. It's another good battle down there with him and Yardridge. Tidies up well, Walsh. Slavic finds Yardridge inside of Murray. Tuggeranong worked that out nicely. Noticeable defensively there, we're seeing Sarkovsky making the drop back that we thought the Barisic might do defensively there, Steve, on that side.
Yeah, they'll probably rotate through those defensive positions to give each other a break, but certainly in the initial stages, Tchaikovsky's dropping a little deeper when Olympic are in possession and going forward.
Vidica's brought down here and is a first set piece chance of the afternoon. Opportunity for Olympic to get this one into the danger zone.
And they have the aerial firepower to actually take advantage of situations like this.
Well, Magic's loitering in an offside position at the moment. Gianpaolo's over the free kick. Looks to send that into the area. Larkin needs to come for this. Doesn't. It's headed clear anyway. Well defended by Tuggeranong. His Reeve will keep this in on this near side. Guy is tight to him though. And Olympic get the decision. Well defended by Chirek, out for another throw. Olympic looking to press early.
Not a lot happening in the early minutes, but Olympic probably just shading it.
Well, Katnach tried to roll his marker there and all the way through to Rory Larkin. Almost 5 minutes gone. No score here, live on Bar TV Sports. Tuggeranong United, top of the table. Not often they come into a game against Olympic top of the ladder, is it, or above Olympic?
No. But both teams just trying to feel each other out at the moment, and
Here's Cole Bataldo.
probably just get used to the pitch.
Loses out to Murray. Katnach tries to win it back and Murray comes away with it but runs straight into Cole Bataldo. Habtemariam's on his bike and he's looking for him. Just a bit behind him, but he's got some skills, Habtemariam. Squares it off to Katnach. Shooting chance back for Robbie Katnach. Still going into the air. Good run this and well blocked in the end. Almost fell for McLaughlin and Chirek clears it, but it opened up for a moment for Robbie Katnach.
Yeah, best moment of the match. Robbie Katnach had the shooting opportunity, but Tuggeranong scrambling in defence did really well.
He declined to take the first one, didn't he? I think on a day like this, you'd fizz a shot in there. It might cause problems for the goalkeepers.
He also had Wiedeker on running on the overlap that was a viable option as well.
It's Gianpaolo. Nice touch that from Habtemariam. And that ball does find Wiedeker out on the left-hand side, looking to take on Yardridge. Into the penalty area. Habtemariam goes down. The whistle goes, but the free kick goes against the Olympic forwards. 6-1, half a dozen of the other, Steve?
Yeah, it might have been... if there was a free kick in there, it wasn't much, and it could have gone either way, I would have thought, so maybe just play on. But referee's in a good position to give the decision.
Well, this rain continues to come down. I think it's probably set in for the afternoon, to be fair. Larkin about to take this goal kick. Tuggeranong only got 3 on the bench today. There's a Heggie flicks that on. A free kick for a push in the back. Interesting choice that from Tuggeranong's coach Mitch Stevens. He hasn't got any. He did tell me beforehand he hasn't got a substitute goalkeeper, and if he was bringing a youngster in, he probably wouldn't be using him today anyway, which is why he's gone with just the 3, which is interesting.
I know, and then Mitch can do things the way he sees fit, but I mean, even if you bring a young player and you don't use him, at least they get the benefit of the experience, and I would have thought that it's good exposure for a younger player.
Murray's behind this free kick. First opportunity for Tuggeranong to cause some issues, and he swings that one towards the far post. He was looking for the late run of Slavic. Falls out here for the blistering drive from Turek, but it was all off target in the end.
Was Slavic, I think, wasn't it?
Was it Slavic? It was Slavic, in fact. Yeah, it dropped him on the edge of the box. My apologies.
Yeah, he hit that well. Not on target, but
caught hold of it, didn't he?
Well. Yeah.
Didn't test the goalkeeper, Andrew Slavic.
I think he had it covered, and he wasn't particularly disturbed about it. He watched it on the way past.
On the right-hand side of that back four. It's a good combination of talents in that back four. A lot of pace. Some good strength in Gaia as well, and some guile with Regan Walsh.
Gaia's actually had a really good start to the season. I watched him play against Belconnen. He was very, very good. Regan Walsh is an excellent signing from Gangala. Brings a lot of experience and a lot of football guile. And Slavic can do both defensive and attacking duties. So they've got a good mix. Matty King, of course, potentially one of the better young players in Canberra.
Yeah, and having these more experienced players around him is probably helping Matty King on this guy one side, Walsh on the other, in the position he's in. It was a chase for Barisic. Couldn't get there. Colbertaldo. Already he's seen lots of the ball. Gianpaolo finds McLaughlin. They switch the play again to Vidica. Takes on Yadrich. Probably the only person in the Tuggeranong outfit that could keep up with the pace of Vidica. It's broken for Habtemari. A nice bit of skill into the penalty area. Teasing with his runs again, Habtemari. Looking for a crossing opportunity. Falls for Vidica. Hasn't caught that well, and it's hoiked off of Turek.
They stayed with Habtemari well then. He got a few tricks, beat them once, beat them twice, and then really failed to deliver with any sort of quality. And then as the ball broke the Wiedeker, he's underhit his cross and it's cleared away. Noticeable
there weren't many blue shirts in there to hit though, was there, Steve?
No.
Wiedeker will take the throw. Katnach. And that's a good foot in by Yadrich.
Frank Casher was listening to you, Russ.
Was he? I didn't hear what he said.
Get numbers in the box.
Well, I think with the lack of the number 9, with no Popovic, it is difficult for them, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's a genuine threat when he gets into that area. 10 minutes gone. Live on Bar TV Sports. Still no score. In towards Habtemariam. Turns on the box. Looks to find Colbertaldo, who's so far forward he might get a nosebleed there. Comes up with the odd spectacular goal, doesn't he, Danny Colbertaldo?
He's capable from outside the box, that's for sure.
Generally saves it for the big occasion, though, doesn't he? In the finals or the semis and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's got a couple of really good goals in grand finals.
Here's Faust. McLaughlin. Walsh is going to shepherd that one back to Larkin. Neither goalkeeper having to make a save in that first 10 minutes. And a half chance at either end, I guess.
Yeah. But I think Olympic will be...
Well, here's a chance for us, Steve. Heggie, we'll come back to that thought in a minute. He's away around the back here, but Faust covers him well. Good battle between the two, and Faust comes away with the ball. Chalk one up in the wing column for Nick Faust.
Yeah, and good refereeing as well. He saw the free kick, the tug on the shirt, and played the advantage. Good referee. Nick Faust did really well. Sorry, Russ.
That's okay. Yeah, he did defensively superb. Renee's brought down, and that's a free kick. And we're going to see a card here.
Oh.
For Slavic. An early one too.
Yeah, I wonder why a card now. Wasn't in a particularly threatening position. It wasn't all that cynical. It was a genuine football challenge gone wrong. Well,
sometimes I wonder. We've seen Bruno Kell referee a couple of times this season, and he hasn't given early cards in positions when we thought he may. You wonder how many times you think that they get feedback and take that on board, and then maybe issue those kind of cards in that situation. So,
I mean, they're entitled to, aren't they?
Well, you didn't think of obviously breaking up an opportunity there. Perhaps the Vidica was going on. He's given the card anyway. Here's Kadnach bursting into the area. Still going. Robbie Kadnach. What a run. Good save as well by Larkin, and it almost came loose. And that's a wild hack by Reeve, I think that is, and he's going to join him in the book as well. No malice in that one, I don't think either. It was just a genuine attempt to shoot.
Well, he was trying to get to the ball, and the defender just nipped it away from him, so it was late, worthy of a free kick. And if you're giving yellow cards for the challenge on Wiedeker, then I guess consistency says you've got to do the same for that challenge.
Yeah, no real arguments from either side there. It looks a heck of a lot worse than what it was, doesn't it, one of those ones, because massive swing. But good save from Larkin. First chance again. Cadenach looks like he's up for this one.
Well, he's been the most promising route to goal for Olympics so far. His ability on the ball to go past players is getting him into some really good areas. It's only a matter of time if they'll continue to allow him do that before he scores. He's
dropped the shoulder a couple of times and they bought it on both occasions so far. But Larkin was alert. Good save from the keeper.
I think Frank Case will be quite pleased because they're dominating midfield. And some of their combinations are really good.
That bounced off Chirek, and Magic slices the clearance to Reeve, and he hooks it out of play. Gaia goes early, but no one's anticipated that one. Challenge with Cole Bataldo. It breaks for Gianpaolo. Now here's Catenacci. Runners ahead of him is Wiedeker. Looking to take on Slavic. He needs to be careful. Defends him well then. Jadric. Now Murray. Sirkovsky.
It's good football. Really good football.
Now Heggie. They worked that one out well. Sirkovsky's after this one. Slides in, but Magic gets there first. And he finds Gaia. Sirkovsky. Started quietly again, Danny Sirkovsky. We said this a couple of times about him, and he's floated in and out of games, but come up with the goods.
Yeah, he's a box player, isn't he? He doesn't do a lot of work outside the box that's really noteworthy, but you give him an opportunity inside the penalty area, and he's been absolutely clinical.
Makes you wonder why, because he was involved there as well, and his touch was good, and vision and perception of where the pass needed to go.
Look, I think if you're playing 4-4-2, you've got plenty of numbers in midfield. You don't want necessarily your strikers dropping too deep. You want to keep the central defenders of Olympic occupied, particularly with them playing with the three. And that will create width on either flank, or should do if they've got to stay on mark too. So I should imagine that's a tactic rather than anything that Tchaikovsky's doing wrong.
It's a free kick which Murray will take. Looking to put this into the danger area. Instead, he's come down the line to Gaia, who's away from Colbertaldo, but it's run that one out of play. Hearing of a goal down at Nijong Oval. Tigers FC lead Monero Panthers 1-0. Penalty from Nikos Kalfas. First goal of the afternoon to Tigers FC.
Excuse me.
That'll ease the pressure somewhat on Gabby Wilk.
Yeah, well, they'll be looking for a fast start, and penalty or otherwise, it would get on the score sheet. It does wonders for your confidence, although they've been in front in games before and not been able to hang on. Monero won't be thinking game over just yet.
Yeah, most notably here when they were 2-0 up early on, and attacking wise I don't think anyone's going to quibble with their attack that they've got down there at the Tigers. Plenty of talent in their front three. Here's Reeve looking to take on Gaia, who defensively does well again. Very sound piece of defensive work, and United try and move that out. It's asking a lot for Chirek though from King. The rain's thankfully stopped.
Perfect conditions now. I always said it was nice at Greenway.
Colbertaldo looks to feed that one through. McLaughlin not quite on the same wavelength, and Slavic sends it forwards. Magic's touch finds Colbertaldo, and that's worked out wide from Rene to Wiedeker. Immediately Jadric is back to challenge. Colbertaldo again, finding more room now. Daddy Colbertaldo goes over in the challenge. Play on here, shot from Gianpaolo, well blocked and defended by Walsh, and Murray brings it away, and a chance for us to see Jadric for the first time in an attacking sense, and that's asking a lot from the return pass from Mate Barisic.
That was poor. He actually did really well to engage with Colbertaldo from the wrong side and put some pressure on him. It still resulted in the shot from Gianpaolo, but going forward he let himself down with his touch and his pass.
That's loose from Catenacci and is picked up by Heggie. He's got a runner ahead of him into the penalty. Here's a chance here from Barisic, and it's in! Flicks it past the goalkeeper, and Mate Barisic gives top of the table Tuggeranong United the lead at Greenway. It's United 1, Olympic 0.
What a lovely goal. I mean, Haggy does really well putting pressure on Tuggeranong. It's obviously a tactic to make sure that the ball players in the Olympic team are put under pressure as soon as possible. He's pinched it high up the pitch, and then his release into the run of Mato Barisic was first class, and then a world-class finish as well.
Great ball from Haggy. It still needed finishing, didn't it, from Barisic, and he picked the right finish. Little clip with the outside of the foot, and it's a marvellous goal from Mato Barisic. His second for Tuggeranong United since his signing. And the home side, much to the delight of the crowd, are 1-0 up in the 17th minute.
And justifying his selection.
Absolutely.
It's a great goal. Really good goal.
Well, we knew Tuggeranong were top of the table for a reason. They're showing it at the moment. Still a long way to go there, Steve. Here's a Heggie. Gaia. Murray. It's a sweeping ball out wide towards Yardrich. Looks to bring it down. He's got a runner outside him, and Slavic had made that run. Couldn't find him, though. Gianpaolo. Now then, he's looking to get away from King. Good defensive side. Good defensive work by the young lad. Yeah.
Too strong.
And courageous ball as well across the face of goal, looking for Slavic. Helped out by Chirek. Rene gets a foot in. Colbertaldo, nice touch. Shot from distance, it's swinging. Oh my word! Daniel Colbertaldo with an absolute belter. We were only saying a couple of moments ago that he's capable of the spectacular, and he has pulled one out of the top drawer and drawn Olympic level. An absolute beauty from Daniel Colbertaldo. 1-1.
Yeah, perfect response to going a goal behind, but we saw a world-class finish in terms of Tuggeranong's goal, and now we're getting a strike from outside the box from Colbertaldo that has beaten Larkin all ends up and flashed into the back of the net. Another great goal.
Goodness me, he caught hold of that, didn't he? And he absolutely flew through the air. He liked it as soon as it left his boot, and you could see why. That's some response from Olympic.
Yeah, fantastic. But just thinking to myself, we need to find some character in the Olympic side now, and they've shown it straight away. Game on.
Well, we said before kickoff that he was very important to the side, and I was thinking more of his defensive ability than the ability to strike one like that, but that is one of the best strikes we've seen for a long time.
Yeah, it's a wonderful finish. Wonderful finish. I mean, the defensive duties of midfield, I think it might have been Murray that he skipped past when it looked like a 50-50, left a bit to be desired, but once he got past him and pulled the trigger, he gave it some violence.
Well, now it's Tuggeranong's turn to see what they've got. They would have been happy with the goal. Never true a word spoken though, Steve, when they say that you're always vulnerable when you've scored.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Here is Colbertaldo. Up to Habtemariam. McLaughlin. He hasn't really got into it yet, Tommy McLaughlin. And he goes lunging in there. And he might be lucky to come away with out a card on this one.
Honestly, for the life of me, I can't understand why it's even a free kick. He's won the ball. He hasn't been reckless in his intent. It was just a 50-50 challenge, and we get a free kick. And
I think any showing of the studs these days is a free kick, isn't it?
What's happening to the game, Russell? I ask myself.
Well, Tuggeranong got on with it. I think, that Tommy McLaughlin might have done him a disservice myself. He did get a foot on the ball. Breaks for Tuggeranong. Now Rene. Tuggeranong again.
Yeah. Playing too deep for mine. I think he needs to play a little bit higher.
He's looked dangerous when he's been up there, hasn't he? Here's Faust. Good ball forward to Habtemariam.
Yeah.
Space for McLaughlin. That's a good switch too. Room for Vidica to work on that left flank, and he's got a runner ahead of him, but that's too hard for Gianpaolo to chase.
It's poor.
So two excellent goals, Steve. Both different in their approach, but great to see that some good strikes contenders for goal of the season there.
Yeah, lovely build-up from the Tuggeranong, a lovely weighted pass and a neat finish, and then sheer power from Colbertaldo to knock one into the top corner. So two great goals.
Further news from Nigel Oval. It's now Tigers FC 2, Monero Panthers 0. Goal from Alex Ola-Rigby to add to that earlier penalty from Nikos Kalfas. So the Tigers 2-0 up. Good start for them.
Yeah, a couple of visa players on the score sheet. Carl Fass, of course, and Ola Rigby, both former Tuggeranong players.
And both former Canberra FC players as well.
Yeah.
Here's Marco Guy with the throw. Looking for the runner ahead of him. Magic wins it. Guy again. There's Barisic in there with the challenge, and the flag's gone up for offsides. Well, we're hoping in the week, as we're talking about this game in the week, and thought it might be an exciting match, and we've certainly enjoyed the first 20 minutes or so.
Well, both teams have come out and are really trying to win the game. There's no sort of thought that Tuggeranong might sit back and defend the position at the top of the table and just try and get a point. They've come out and had a go. Olympic, of course, 3 points is probably more important to them than it is to Tuggeranong, but you know, the game's been a cracker.
Reeve can't keep that in.
I just fancy Habtemariam's got a goal on him today. His touch has been really good in the first few exchanges, and I think he'll either create something for them or get one himself.
And he's got history against Tuggeranong, of course. Grabbed a couple of goals in the Charity Shield this year in the 3-1 win.
He did, and he comes into this game, doesn't he, under a little bit of an injury cloud. Just got through a fitness test before the game. So while he's on there, I guess Olympic will be hoping he can do the business.
Yeah, there was talk he was struggling a little bit before kick-off. Yardrich is offside. Does offer something different up front, Habtemariam. Here's Katnach, he's been heavily involved early. Nice ball around the corner from Gianpaolo. Vidica again, getting a bit of joy down that left-hand flank, isn't he? A bit of space.
He's certainly been the outlet for him. Michael Reeves hasn't started the game particularly well down the right-hand side, but Vidica is certainly hugging that touchline and getting a lot of space, a lot of touches.
Rene clips it into the box. Gianpaolo's unmarked, nods it down towards Habtemariam, who slips at the vital moment.
I told you he'd do something.
A real chance that was, wasn't it? Very unselfish from Dom Gianpaolo, though. Thought he might head for goal there.
Yeah, he was an opportunity, wasn't it? But yeah, Habtemariam a little bit disappointed he couldn't keep his feet.
But there's a warning.
Yeah.
You did say he was looking sharp today. Here's another looking sharp. It's Jose Heggie. He's added a whole new dimension to this Tuggeranong team, hasn't he?
He's over the last couple of seasons, he's turned himself into a really, really good player.
And that inconsistency that plagued him throughout his junior days seems to have gone somewhat. And I think, still raw, but plenty of talent.
But I think the fact that he's been able to settle into a first-team spot has helped him as well.
Yardrich into the area, and Mark Barisic here. And for some reason he didn't head the ball, tried to bring it down, didn't work for him, and tries to squeeze it past Colbertado, but that was a chance as well.
Yeah, it had to be left foot touch. If he was going to bring it down or shoot, it had to be left foot.
Again though, surprised he didn't just throw his head at it. Katnach, it's got an open feel to it, this one.
It is.
Is Yardrich beaten to it by Habtemariam. Colbertaldo sends Reeve, caught a bit late there, and Bruno Cowell's going to bring that one back for the free kick. Jono Chirek just left a little bit on Colbertaldo in the middle of the park. Yeah,
when Jono Chirek was breaking into the first grade a few seasons ago, they were teammates, so they know each other quite well. I think that was just a timely reminder of things past.
Both part of that Tuggeranong United squad, of course, that played towards the FFA in the FFA Cup. It's clipped towards the far post. Vidica wins the header.
Harmlessly away for a goal kick then. I mean, don't see a lot of science in free kicks these days, but
well, you wonder at this level, Steve, how often they practice them, the set pieces. You don't get very often the chance, to the time, really, I guess, to practice those kind of things. And the if you got someone that can deliver it on a sixpence every week, you're laughing. To be fair.
Yeah. But there's not a lot of variation goes on, throughout the NPL.
That's a good ball from Reeve to Habtemariam. And there's another player slipping in the middle of the park. It's Gianpaolo this time. Obviously that rain before kickoff has made this surface a bit greasy.
And it's back again now.
Yeah, it's just started up again. That's a bit short. Chirek wins it twice, but McLaughlin with a fairly thumping challenge. Colbertaldo. Nice touch from Katnash to Vidica. Gianpaolo runs into Chirek, who comes away with the ball and finds Yardrich. Now he's looking for a runner on this near side. It's a Heggie. Brings it down, but Reeve was just waiting for that loose ball.
Yeah, did well. Tracked his runner, did well. Ooh.
Gaia. Now a Heggie. Back to Gaia. The combination of Katnach and Reeve clear out for Olympic. But Sikorsky is penalised for a slight shove.
Yeah, a little push. Little push, not much in it.
Not a lot in it, was there? But enough to give Olympic the free kick.
But Robbie Katnach's just dropping into spaces where other people want to operate, and it just looks like he's getting in people's way. And if they can just push him a little higher, they might get more joy, might find more space, and their combinations will work a little better.
We looked really dangerous in the first 5 or 6 minutes. Here's Reeve, great bit of skill into the penalty area, swings it across, and well met defensively by King. And that's well done by Sikorsky. Finds Barisic to open the scoring this afternoon. Ehegi. Gaia. Fortunate there. It's found its way back to Larkin via Murray. Here's Colbertaldo from Magic.
Yeah, nice composed play by Magic. Didn't panic. Nice touch. Finds Colbertaldo in the back on the attack.
Vidiga looking to take on Slavic. Pulls it in the area. Chance for Gianpaolo. Leaves it. Habtemariam's there. Saved by Larkin's feet. Didn't get enough on it. Perhaps Habtemariam, but a good save from the Tuggeranong goalkeeper. The second time this afternoon he's been called into action down low. Good reaction save.
It was a good save. Well, better save than a finish, but he's done well, even if he was with his feet. But I think I put the mock on Habtemariam.
The dummy from Gianpaolo maybe surprised him a little bit. But good work from Vidica again down that flank, and Slavic already on a yellow card, has to be careful, and I think that's why Vidica maybe is getting a bit of joy. Possibly,
but I thought the little leave by Gianpaolo was fantastic. Lovely piece of thinking.
It's that football awareness that he brings to these teams, isn't it, Steve? That kind of quality. Yeah. Olympic just turning the screw since they've been equalised. They've looked the more likely.
Yeah, they certainly are piling on a bit of pressure now. This is the best spell of the game, isn't it?
Habtemariam from Reeve. Finds McLaughlin. Thought about the cross. Comes back to Faust, and they're happy to keep possession. This is a trait the Olympic have shown over the years. Gianpaolo tried to be a little bit too tricksy there. Here's Vidica. Shows the ball to Slavic, gets past him again. Again, another dangerous ball. It's ricocheting around, and United, rather through luck than judgment, have got rid of it. There's a huge slice by Matt King. It's coming back straight at them again, though. Barisic is in there.
Just struggling to clear the lines a little bit. They're all over the place. Things have just bounced their way in the last 2 or 3 minutes, but they need a little bit more composure and a little bit more cohesion before they can actually say they've weathered this.
Lovely touch by Habtemariam, looking for McLaughlin. Maybe, Steve, is this where they're missing Tom Paget?
Well, they're certainly missing his enthusiasm, but it's not the front part of the pitch that they've got the problem in at the moment. They just seem to be struggling to clear their area.
Yeah, I was thinking more in terms of holding it up and giving them a bit of a breather.
Yeah. Well, certainly the two guys that are playing up front at the moment lack that sort of ability to sort of play with their back to goal.
Well, loose ball here, and here's John Chirek bursting through here. He's going all the way. Can he get a shot away? He can, but lack the conviction of the run.
Yeah.
Good burst, but didn't get enough on the shot. Not renowned for his goal scoring, John Chirek.
No, he's not in the team for that, but that's a great run.
It shows good energy to get back as well now. Get involved there again with the tackle. Breaks for Colbertaldo, though.
Amazing how many times it does. He's always in the right spots.
Faust. Well read by King. He still gets in there and does well to win. I thought he went inside the throw-in. From up here, it looked like he kept that one in.
Yeah.
Here's Magic. And that's well charged down as well. It's better from Sikorsky.
Yeah.
Katnach. Renee.
Well, the persevering with Katnach playing deeper and McLaughlin playing a little bit higher. And certainly over the last 3 or 4 minutes, it's worked for him.
Great ball into the channel from Faust to Habta Merriam. Yep, this is all your fault, I think, Steve, since since you gave him a rap. He's had a forgettable 5 minutes, let's say.
He's looked just a little out of sorts since I placed my $5 each way on him to score.
I'm sure he'll come good, though.
Yeah, he's getting into good areas, and I still fancy him to get something out of it today.
Brilliant vision from Faltho as well to find the pace.
Pass,
Good weight on it too.
Yeah, very good.
The upshot is a goal kick though, and Larkin sends it forward looking for Barisic. Beaten in the air by Reeve. But United will get the throw. Which Gaia will take. Ehegi. And Faust went with him all the way and concedes another throw.
Apart from the goal, they've kept him pretty quiet.
Chance to load the box here though. Guy looks for Sokowski, who can't get it under control, and it's bounced out of play harmlessly. And Angelo Constanza, who's conceded, he's hardly had a touch though.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. No, Larkin's certainly been the busier of the two keepers, but Tuggeranong have shown that if they can win the ball in good areas, they're quite capable on the break.
Just over half an hour gone live on Bar TV Sports, NPL football, live from Greenway. Tuggeranong United 1, Canberra Olympic 1. Down at Nijong, it's Tigers 2, Monero 0. Free kick here for Tuggeranong. Ehegi fouled by Katanach.
Nice combination between him and Barisic. Just released him briefly, but Katanach brought that attack.
Murray goes early. Here's Barisic. Touch let him down, and Constantin, who came out to claim brave goalkeeping. Just that first touch from Barisic, though, just escaped him.
Yeah, he should have done better. I think he was in behind him, and he was in with a glorious opportunity. Once again, you're seeing the technique letting the play down.
Good quick thinking from Shane Murray, though, to see the spot the opening.
Absolutely. And that's what he brings to the game, isn't it?
It's Colbertaldo. Nice ball towards Reeve. Coming down this channel more and more now, Olympic. Looking for Reeve to test Gaia. Good ball in, but nobody had gambled on the near post.
No.
Comfortable in the end for Rory Larkin.
He's just coming into the game a little bit more now, Reeves. After a slow start, he's just sort of establishing himself as an attacking weapon.
Magic unchallenged. Falls for Sikorsky, and Magic beats him to it. Nice little touch from Katanach to find McLaughlin, who's overhit that one. Yeah, Dom Giampaolo brings many qualities, but he's not going to go chasing that into a channel, is he?
No.
So it's Tuggeranong who get to start again. King.
There's a chance to press.
And Keisha's asking them to do so. And they do, as Faust gets it ahead of Ehegi. Katanach looking for Habtamarian. He's going to get it back again.
Two bad balls in a row, though, from Robbie.
Guy has it for Tuggeranong. Can only concede the throw, though.
That's good pressure, though, from Olympic. The press was well coordinated, and they won it in a really good area. And a bit of quality from Katanach, and they might have been in on goal.
Faust with the throw. Gets it back from Reeve and gives it back to the winger. Skips away from Gaia here, Reeve, but he's overrun that one, and he's disappointed with himself.
Yeah, he should be, once again, letting people down. I mean, I know the pitch isn't great and it is a bit slippery, but there's no excuses for that or the Barisic touch earlier.
Just perhaps thinking too far ahead, not concentrating on the here and now. Here's Faust. Free kick against Ehegi for a shove on the back of Colbertaldo. Katanach looking for his options. Reeve again. King's one ahead of Habtamarian, but Reeve gets a second chance. Finds Habtamarian again. Katanach. Ball towards Giampaolo. Uses his strength, but it's bounced off Slavic. It's a chance here for Dom Giampaolo in the air. Strikes it across goal and fades across the face. Out for a goal kick. Half a chance out for Giampaolo.
Yeah, that's opportunism at its best, isn't it? I mean, that comes off a defender to play him in with a poor clearance hitting his own man, and there's Giampaolo finishing with a strike that only just misses the target.
Elected to go across the goalkeeper to the far corner,
which I think was the right decision. Yeah,
certainly had Larkin worried, and then a lot of the Tuggeranong fans in this crowd, most of which are gathered in this grandstand. Can't blame them.
Hardly few souls watching the game on the other pitch, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's the parents. Out in all weathers. That's what football parents do, Steve, isn't it?
Yep.
Well, I guess that's what most sports parents do.
Yeah, absolutely.
To allow their kids to come and play some football.
You'll probably be doing it yourself soon.
Yeah, future of the Tuggeranong and Olympic teams over there. Yeah, my 4-year-old might be taking some football next year. I hope she's a bit more energetic than her dad was on the field. Here's Walsh. It's a good ball to Heggie. Space for him now on this near side, but the flag goes up.
Yeah. I mean, just no excuse of being in a position like that where you can look across the line and being called offside. That's what lets Heggie down more often than it should.
Isn't it incredible, though, Steve? You even see that in the top level in the Champions League and the Premier League as well. Is that people get caught looking along the line and
there's no reason for it at all.
I think it's a mental switch off. Briefly. Anyway, we're back on the way. It's a ball forward looking for Katanash. Now King needs to be careful and defends that really well. Thought for a moment there that Katanash was just going to ease him off the ball. Settles for the throw. Reeve. Meaty challenge from Gaia.
Once again, it's a poor touch. It's a touch that takes him into a battle.
Was won it back though, and almost found Katanash after a fashion, and was hooked out of play. Big entertaining half so far.
Yep.
2 good goals.
2 cracking goals. 2 cracking goals, and more to look forward to.
It's Faust. Has he got a delivery? It's overhit that one. Right idea. Didn't quite execute it properly.
Not a great area to be crossing from. He's a long way out, but he put it into a decent spot.
Just remember Scott Conlon. Remember Scott Conlon? He would played football from Canberra, and he coached us at Tuggeranong, and he said you never cross that ball from that area. Yeah. It's a nothing ball, really.
Well, you make the goalkeeper favourite.
Here's Reeve. Giampaolo.
2 or 3 times he's tried a little flick like that, and it hasn't come off.
It's up towards Barisic, and he's going to break here. And Tuggeranong got 4-on-2 for a moment, and there's room out wide for Yardrich. What's he got? He's got players square. Sokovsky's touch is just wide of goal. So on the stretch, Danny Sokovsky. And United win close, but I think they'll be disappointed they've not come away with something there.
And if you have a look upfield now at the moment, the picture will show you 6 Olympic players that didn't get back, lost the ball in transition through a Giampaolo flick. Not the first time it's happened. And Tuggeranong, really quick in transition, create themselves a wonderful chance and probably should have at least hit the target.
That's the threat that Sokovsky brings out, quiet, and then he bursts into life, and just stretching for that, wasn't he, from Yadrich's square pass?
I thought Yadrich could have taken it on another step or 2 as well.
I thought he was going to at one stage. Here's King, safety first.
So certainly the portents are good for more goals second half for us, if not before half time.
Faust will take this throw. Giampaolo. Rene. McLaughlin, back to Rene again. They've worked that well. Create a bit of space for Kolbatado, who's looking for the run of Habtemeri. I mean, Slavic saw it.
Yeah, those sorts of balls aren't going to work on this surface, that's for sure. Too straight, too direct. Just going to skip away. Unless you execute perfectly, you're not going to get on the end of them.
Gaia stretches his legs into Olympic territory and finds a Heggie. Looks for the return, and Heggie's asked a lot of him there. And Faust defensively does well. Not really the best of passes from Associate Heggie, though.
No. I mean, in situations like that, the fullback's made a good run. You're probably obliged to honour his run, but you're looking for the second striker as many times as not because everybody's dragged to this side of the park.
Guy probably shooting a Heggie daggers after making a 90-metre burst and not getting a pass into his stride. And Murray sends that one forwards. Yardrich probably had more time than he thought. It's going to fall for Sokovsky. But Olympic tidy up with Colbertado once more. It's Catanach playing further forwards, as Steve wanted. Here's Gianpaolo. Now here's a chance, perhaps. Look for the run of McLaughlin, and defensively Slavic does well.
Yeah, I think getting Catanach into these sorts of areas where he can play things into the final third and create for him is going to work wonders.
Magic looking to start another Olympic attack. McLaughlin tried to chest it forward, and it's broken for Tuggeranong, and I think Jadric wanted Sokowski to make the run down the channel for him.
But certainly in transition, Olympic defensively are very, very slow. And there's going to be some joy for Tuggeranong on this. If they can pick the ball up in these sorts of areas, do it quickly.
Colbertaldo's ball forward, but Vidica's offside.
And then go like they have done. They're a real chance of getting a second.
Well, they took the lead early on through Mate Barisic's goal after 17 minutes. Pegged back only a couple of minutes later by an absolute thunderbolt from Daniel Colbertaldo to make it 1-1. Slavic is after this. Into the penalty area. Chips it across. Chance here, perhaps. It's going to fall for Ehegi. Knocks it down and away from goal, Sokowski. Barisic. Shooting chance, perhaps, of Barisic. Still going. Chips one towards goal, but over and away for a goal kick. Threatening times again, though, for Tuggeranong.
Yeah, we're just being harassed by the crowd. Bit of hooliganism going on from the Greek supporters.
Tongue-in-cheek, that is, Steve, just in case anybody actually thinks we're getting harassed by the Olympic supporters.
Don't send the police.
Another half chance.
Yeah.
Ehegi climbs highest. Sokowski flicks it on. Probably could have done with going behind him. Constantinu gets it back and away quickly, and Gianpaolo flicked it on its way and gets it back again and takes it into his stride and just pulled up there, did he?
Yeah, his
hamstring's gone. And he's not happy, and Reeves going to clip this one out of play, and just sharply pulled up, didn't he? I think he's tweaked something in his hamstring. Seen a lot of these this year.
It's the first time he got into a sprint this game, I think, wasn't it? And he's just been floating around in good areas, but tested the hammy then, and it's not gone through.
Well, be interesting to see what the change is. Michael John is the obvious one.
Yeah, he's getting changed now. So.
But we've seen a lot of hamstring injuries this year, haven't we? From the Olympic, especially, we've seen 2 or 3.
I know. And we sort of put it down to the synthetic, didn't we, the last time we saw them play? But maybe it's just either they're doing too much during the week or perhaps not enough for some of them.
Yeah, I mean, cold weather here today probably doesn't help in that kind of scenario. And he just burst into life there, didn't he? And the extra stride and just tweaked on him, and not a good one. But we're going to see Michael John, another former Tuggeranong player.
Yes. And he's had a good start to the season as well. He's been quite effective while he's played, and when he's had a couple of starts with them.
A couple of goals as well. A bit unlucky to be left out of the side today, I think. Michael John scored a couple of goals for them this season. Half-time down at Nigel Oval. Tigers 2, Panthers 0. Penalty from Nikos Kalfas and a goal from Alex Olarigby. Have Tigers 45 minutes away from 3 points. Close to half-time here.
Yeah, we had a late start, didn't we?
Yeah, 6 minutes or so late today. Don't think anyone fancied coming out of the changing rooms as Thunder and Lightning was crashing around the ground. Here's John, his first touch, nice and sharp. Tries to get it back, but Murray's there. Ehegi. Gaia sends that one forwards. Sokowski beaten in the air by Magic. Reeve wins the midfield tussle with Chirek, who leaves a foot in on McLaughlin. Free kick Olympic. Acknowledges the foul. Aerially, Sokowski's had nothing out of Magic, has he?
No, you're not going to beat Magic in the air, I don't think. You've got to play to feed and then try and work combinations around him. He's a good defender.
Let's see what he's got from the set piece. Looking for the runner, Catanach. Bit of a shirt pull there, maybe, from Chirek on the blind side of the referee.
Yeah.
Canny defending from the United midfielder.
Yeah, he did well.
There's Ehegi. Magic's there. Falls for Gaia. Now Ehegi. Runner on the far side is Jadric. He's going to find him as well. pulls it back looking for Slavic, and it's just bounced away from the fullback. And Katanac tidies up for Olympic. Is there a last chance for them before the break? And Faust gives it away. Gaia, who's been solid in this opening 45, but both ends of the pitch. Here he is offensively taking on Faust into the corner, and nice bit of skill. Is he going to keep this one in? He just overhit it there. Needed a bit more support there, Marco Gaia.
He did, and he's had a good first 45. He's probed down the left-hand side when he's had the opportunity. He's made some good runs in behind the defence. Defensively, he's held his own. So he'll be reasonably pleased with his efforts so far.
It's not the best from Constantinu. And Reeve does well to keep it in, but can only set up Gaia. Hadn't retreated all the way, and a beautiful bit of skill from Gaia to get away from Reeve, and Faust comes across. And referee Bruno Kell says that'll do us just for the first half, just as the rain starts again. Stephen, entertaining first 45 minutes.
Fantastic game in the first 45 minutes. 2 wonderful goals. Chances at both ends. Olympic have had their moments where they might have come into the sheds and a goal or two in front, but you could argue that Tuggeranong have had similar sorts of half chances themselves, and on the break they've looked quite dangerous. Katanac had a couple of early runs where he may have done better, but he caused the Tuggeranong defence some problems, and certainly in the early part of the half, Wiedeke was getting a lot of space down that left-hand side. But Tuggeranong have held their own, and 1-1, fair result at half-time.
Katanac and Habtemariam both tested Rory Larkin, making decent saves from both of those players in the early stages. Stephen, where's this one going to be won in the second half?
I think some tweaking from Olympic, and if they can get the midfield balance right, they'll create more chances. Tuggeranong, I think, can just keep doing the same sorts of things. If they can just concentrate on staying compact and then breaking quickly, I think that they will get some joy out of that. But the midfield battle is an interesting one, and that's probably where it's going to be won and lost.
Well, half-time here, we saw Mate Barisic open the scoring for Tuggeranong after 17 minutes, putting the league leaders in front. There's a lead that lasted for just 2 minutes, though, as Daniel Calbataldo's blockbuster of a strike from about 30 metres plus fizzed into the top corner, and at half-time at Greenway, it's Tuggeranong 1, Canberra Olympic 1.
Ease upon.
Welcome back to Greenway Enclosed. It's half-time here in the NPL Capital Football match between Tuggeranong and Canberra. A big 1-1 as the teams come out for the second half. Steve, we enjoyed that first half. We had plenty of action, and the rain's gone away for the time being. Looks like we might get a bright second half. The surface will still be greasy, and hopefully there'll be more goalmouth action.
Well, we can look forward to that because the first half promised that, didn't it? I mean, we saw, and we mentioned during the commentary that we've seen 2 good goals. We've seen goalmouth action. We've seen some decent football. We've seen some aggressive challenges and some poor touches and technique. It's had a bit of a mixture of everything. The weather playing its part, but I'm looking forward to the second half, and I think both teams look capable of scoring.
Couple of cards in that first half. Andrew Slavic on a yellow for Tuggeranong early, and then one for Michael Reeve a bit later as well. Tuggeranong are out there. Olympic coming out now. The two teams, Tuggeranong 4-4-2. They started the game. Larkin in goal. Back four of Gaia, King, Walsh, Slavic. Midfield four, Ihegi, Churek, Murray, Yadrich. Up front, Sikorsky and Barisic, the goal scorer. Olympic started with a 3-1-4-2 with Constantinu in goal, Renee Megic and Faust the back three, Colbertaldo just in front of them, then Vidica, McLaughlin, Katanach and Reeve in front of them, and Habtemariam up front with Michael John, who came on to replace Dom Giampaolo, who pulled a hamstring just before half-time. So Steve, that change, different kind of questions now for the Tuggeranong defence with Michael John. He'll offer something a little bit different to Giampaolo in terms of a bit more pace. A
bit more pace, a little bit more mobile, I think. Probably a player in slightly better form in front of goals than Giampaolo, though Giampaolo hasn't done too bad. But Michael John does bring that little bit difference in his game. He's powerful, doesn't mind taking players on, he can pick a pass as well, and he will probably play that a little bit higher than Habtemariam, whereas we saw Giampaolo dropping into midfield areas, and MJ probably won't be doing that as often, I would have thought. I
think he'll relish this opportunity, Steve, because he's been playing wide for quite a lot of the time that he's been with Olympic. But I think if you asked him, he'd see himself as an out-and-out striker, wouldn't he?
Oh, I think so. I don't think he minds playing in the wide areas, but he looks more comfortable playing through the middle.
We're underway in the second half. We're getting a full-time score in from the Women's Premier League. Canberra FC 5, Tuggeranong United 0. Big result there for Canberra FC. So Tuggeranong's women's team on the end of a bit of a hiding there, Steve. They'll be hoping that their men's team fares a little bit better in this second half.
Yeah. Well, I think they've lost all three, both the grades prior to this one, the main game here. And the women are going down as well. It hasn't been a great day for Tuggies.
Very young women's team this year. I commentated on them a few weeks ago. Their oldest player is 22. That makes you feel old, Steve.
It does. My children are older than that.
We're underway in this second half. Tuggeranong attacking the goal to our right. As I say, the rain has stopped and Slavic wins that ball. Finds King, who helps it on its way. Clipped into the penalty area, but Megic wins it. Falls for Murray. Now Slavic. Bit of space for Yadrich. It's a good looking ball into the area, and Constantinu clutches that one. Bit too close to the big goalkeeper. And he gets Olympic underway with Renee. Calling for an option forward. In the end, he strides out of defence. Katanach. Habtemariam. Now Vidica's made the run, and he's got away from Slavic here. Chips towards the far post. Should be easy for Gaia, but Reeves put him under some late pressure and won the ball back. McLaughlin.
Should have been in the box, Reeves. He was on his heels watching.
Katanach. Danger signs. Ball breaks away. Here's Colbertaldo. They close him down this time, not surprisingly, after his goal in the first half. And Tuggeranong looking to break. Megic read the ball through from Sikorsky, though. He in turn gives it away to Slavic. Now Yadrich. Good run forward from Churek. Couldn't get it past Renee there. Was half a chance for Tuggeranong on the break then. Sikorsky's pass lacking the requisite power.
Yeah. Well, arguably half a chance at both ends with Wiedeker getting in behind Slavic.
There's a free kick here. Colbertaldo has been called up for a slight shove on Churek. I'm guessing that's what Bruno Kell seems to be saying. Colbertaldo not happy.
No.
Seemed fairly innocuous, didn't it?
It did. I didn't see what happened. So, I mean, the referee obviously saw something that he thought needed sanction, and he's pulled him up. And Cole Bataldo can argue as much as he wants. He is not changing his mind now.
Yeah, the conversation's continuing. He's getting an explanation from the referee in essay form.
I don't mind an explanation. There's no need for a debate.
Murray will take this free kick. Not much movement ahead of him. And that's why, because he switched it to the far side to Gaia, who's let that one run across him. And now looks for a run ahead. It's Barisic. Ihegi. It's a bit of a waste. You thought they might have put that one into the danger zone?
It was very conservative approach to the game.
And that's unlike Tuggeranong this season, who've been very positive in their approach to most games, and that's why they find themselves at the top of the table. From their point of view, they can't be overtaken today, obviously. Even if Olympic win, they're just closing the gap. Here's Wiedeke looking to put them in front. Walsh clips it away. Slavic is there with Wiedeke, who lets it run out of play, but it was him that got the last touch, so it's a Tuggeranong throw. Yardrich didn't look, well, that's almost dangerous. Walsh got him out of jail there, and that's a free kick. Dangerous ball from Josip Yardrich.
It was very careless, wasn't it? It could have been disastrous, but they scrambled well, worked hard for each other, as Tuggeranong always do, and have got away with it. It's been a rather sloppy start from both teams to the half.
You're fairly tame as well.
Yeah.
Renee. McLaughlin will be challenged by Murray, who comes out on top. That's a loose ball from Jurek. He's looking to win it. Barisic rather, and wins it back and concedes a free kick. And Mate Barisic protests his innocence as well. The debate this time not quite so long.
No. Given a graphic example of what he thought the referee should have seen.
That's a bit weird. A bit short from Katnak as well. Very sloppy from both teams.
I mean, Katnak responsible in the first half for giving up possession for their goal, and he's almost made a contribution in a similar style.
Colbertado looking for Wiedeke. Well, that'll skip away off the dewy surface here. And Rory Larkin can take as long as he likes. Looking at the benches, Steve, that'll come into play a little bit later on. We've obviously seen Michael John. Very young Olympic bench other than that. Tim Boblis, the defender. Lewis Romeo, who's a defender or a midfielder. Ali Sarwan, a young forward from down here from Wollongong. And James Christos, the goalkeeper. Tuggeranong only naming the three. Mitch Steenberg in the defensive cover. Jamie Viencombe in the middle. And Eddie Coggan, the forward option.
Yeah. I mean, both the Boblis boys missing from the Olympic lineup. Timmy just making his...
So here's Ihegi running through, and sorry, Steve Constantino came out to deny him.
Yeah, just going to say Timmy Boblis coming back from an injury from the last game where we saw him when he pulled up with a quad injury.
Back on the bench today, warming up behind the goal. It's a challenge from Barisic, and the referee gives a free kick. Barisic again. Didn't see a lot wrong with that myself, Steve.
I didn't either, and he was late with his call, so I think he's sort of given that on suspicion.
Here's Faust. Looks for the switch, and Yardrich does his defensive duties.
He's worked hard, Josip Yardrich. Not part of his game normally that you would see him bombing up and down the flanks, but he's worked really hard for him today. Colbertaldo
to John. Holds it up now nicely. Habtemariam, McLaughlin, almost working those triangles. Now here's a break for Tuggeranong. Acres of space for Murray to advance forward. He's only got two runners. One of them is Barisic on the left, and he picks him out. Sokowski's the only one in the middle. So Barisic swings it in there. Here's a chance for Yardrich on the far post. Met it well, but couldn't quite guide it beyond Constantino. Stuck in, didn't he there, Josip Yardrich, and almost gave United the lead. And good break.
Great runner. Great work. He's come from attacking position to help out in defence, and then got forward again to get on the end of a really decent cross. But what is alarming from an Olympic point of view is that if Colbertaldo does go forward, nobody drops in, and the gap between the back three and the attacking players is massive, and Tuggeranong are just sitting people in there and catching them on the counter.
Murray had the freedom of Greenway running forward there, and credit to Barisic as well. Picked out the only player on the field other than Sokowski in the middle of the area, and I think Yardridge would be a little bit disappointed he didn't get out on target. Looking back at it,
he did the right thing. I mean, it only has to be on target, and it's a goal.
A warning for Olympic if they needed one. Here is Yardridge. And he's picked the wrong pass on that occasion, and Reeve is able to come up with it for Olympic. Faust finds McLaughlin. Habta Merriam. Colbertaldo in that advanced role again.
A little bit better shape now with McLaughlin sitting in. If they don't win it, they're in trouble, aren't they?
And he's got away from him again, Barisic. What pass can he pick out this time? Comes to this near side of Josip Yardridge again. Great ball too. Here is Yardridge. Can he pick out a ball in? Decent cross, and Megic has to defend it. And Rene gets something on it to get rid of it. And Slavic lets it run out of play.
Good period for Tuggeranong. Good period for Tuggeranong. Olympic not offering much going forward, and Tuggeranong's pressure is giving them possession in good areas, and they've been able to at least penetrate.
Murray does well. Yardridge in towards a near post, and coming across to defend well was Faust. Tuggeranong looking dangerous now.
Yeah, it's the best spell of the second half for either team.
Yardridge is going to send this as far as he can into that Olympic penalty area. Slavic is the option in front. Comes to Murray. Nice turn from Murray. Can he find a delivery across the area? And Constantinou struck out a bear-like paw to pull it into his grasp.
As he's done so many times before, it nullifies the attacks straight away with a really good save and a good piece of handling.
John and Vidica exchanging passes, and that's sent forward towards Barisic. Beaten in the air by Megic. Colbertaldo. Reeve deciding what to do with it. Faust. Little pressure from Barisic.
Those passes were sticking in the first half. Tuggeranong have come to grips with that forward pass, and it's not causing them any problems at all at the moment.
Slavic. The run is Sokowski. Rene's with him the whole way though. 2 Olympic players in the end, and a bit of a push and shove here, and Sokowski is retaliated to a little shove from Rene.
Yeah, he pulled on Rene's shirt in the first instance, and Rene wasn't happy about that, and I think he's just had a bit of a lash out, and Tchaikovsky's then retaliated.
Raised his arms and pushed him in the chest. I mean, we're having a conversation here. There wasn't a lot in it though, was it?
No.
Bit of handbags, but
there's been players sent off for similar stuff in the last few weeks at different games, but if this is a red card, I'll be surprised.
He's raised his hands, hasn't he? But I mean, there's they have a chat with each other, and they're both friends again, and just a quick chat with them both, and let's get on with it, I think.
Yeah, I think common sense will prevail.
Yeah.
They've had a bit of a love-in afterwards.
Everyone's happy. Let's hope the game's not spoiled. Good refereeing by Bruno Kell. I guess he did the right thing to come across and just check that there was nothing untoward.
Yeah.
Delphine Tomoski on this near side reassured him there wasn't anything in it. There's something in that, and they're going to get a free kick. Very dangerous position, this one.
Good spot for him.
Yardridge has got it. Murray's jogging over to see if he needs assistance.
They haven't done a lot with the set pieces, Tuggeranong. I know they haven't had a lot, but they haven't done much with them when they've had.
We've spoken about Murray before, Steve. This is a good opportunity for him to pick one out. Let's see if he can find a green and white shirt in that penalty area. There's 4 of them loitering. Good ball in, and that's a nice header away by Faust.
Yeah.
Got distance and direction as well, which is what you want defensively. And Megic can complete the clearance. King. That was a better cross, though. Ask for some defensive work to be done.
Yeah, it was into a good area, and Faust, to his credit, gets there first and does what good defenders do, gets it away from the danger area. Didn't make great contact with it, but got it away into a safer area, and then Reeves was able to pick up the loose ball, and Megic, I think, completed the clearance.
He got it away from goal, which is the important thing.
Absolutely.
Here's Rene. Now then, first bit of space for Vidica in this half. He's got a lot to run into. McLaughlin screaming for it. Now he's taking on Slavic. Vidica into the area, fizzes it across. And
again, Reeves is just sitting on his heels. I think he's frightened about the pace of a Heggie if he gets him on the break, but not his job.
Yeah, he doesn't want to get caught, does he?
No, but he's got to get in the penalty. I mean, they're just wasting chances if he doesn't get in.
Fair bit of meat on that cross from Vidica as well.
Yeah. But he's got the beating of Slavic at the moment.
At least on that occasion, though, Steve, there was a couple of blue shirts that made the run into the penalty area.
Yes.
Which was lacking a little in the first half from Olympics' point of view.
I'm sure that Frank Casher would have raised that at half time, that if they're going to get into those areas, then we need to have numbers in the box.
Here's Jadric. Got a runner on the far side in Barisic. Brings it down well. Comes back in on himself, and Murray looks for Heggie.
Offside. Flag
goes up against Sese Heggie.
Again.
He's been quiet so far this second half.
Yes, and once again he just failed to have a look across the line and time his run correctly.
I think Mitch Stevens will be keen to get him involved as often as he can.
He showed in the first half what he's capable of. He sets up the goal with a lovely pass, and we know he's capable of scoring himself, but he's got to concentrate, make sure he's staying on side and be effective for him in that front third.
Good header at the back by Gaia. Habtemariam, and it's out for another throw.
And he's gone right out of the game, Habtemariam. Maybe the injuries just bother him a little bit.
Well, it's either that or you'll curse on him in the first half.
I certainly cursed him.
He looked really sharp in the first 25 minutes. Here he is. Looking for Reeve.
Good now that I've written him off.
Undoubtedly so, I'd imagine. Here's a Heggie, who we're just talking about, needs to get involved a bit more. Showed a burst of pace. Decision goes Olympics' way.
Yeah, it looked an Olympic ball.
Habtemariam. Katanaj. Habtemariam. Stands up his marker. Good ball into the area. John can't quite get a contact on it. Falls for Vidica. He'll keep this in. The second ball into the area. Looking for John again, but he's not going to get on the end of that one. Might fall for Vidica again. For the third time. Comes back to Rene. Half a chance out for Michael John to get ahead on.
Certainly a difference in approaches, though. The ball goes in and it goes too far, but Wiedeker's on the end of it. On the other side, Reeves is just not getting into the box at all.
Well, here he is, ball into the middle. John got ahead of his marker and couldn't collect it in his stride. I think caught between two stools by either shoot or try and control the ball. Did neither.
Great ball in. Great run, great ball in. And Michael John will be a little disappointed he hasn't done better. He should have found the target at least.
Reeve doing exactly what you asked of him there, Steve. Showing more in an attacking sense. Hour gone, live on Bar TV Sports, NPL Capital Football. Here at Greenway, you're listening to myself, Russ Gibbs, with Steve Forshaw. It's Tuggeranong 1, Canberra Olympic 1. And this top of the table clash in the NPL. Here's Katanaj. John wanted it. Goes to Vidica instead. Now it finds John. And Habtemariam. Runner is Reeve. And he's found him. Back to Habtemariam, edge of the area, and tried to take it in his stride, but got his legs caught up under him, and it breaks for Murray. Slavic. Jadric.
It's good defending, good press again from Olympic.
Larkin. He took a nasty little bobble before he cleared it and got good distance there. Colbertaldo.
Yeah, the break now. They're in.
Barisic. Sokowski.
Wasted. Sokowski's got to do better in situations like that. They had Olympic stretched.
His Magic coming out of defence. Habtemariam. Oh, nice bit of skill from Habtemariam. Chance for Magic.
Wiedeker's out the box now.
Fires a low one in. Habtemariam's there. Gets a touch on it and shots away. But it bounces off of Turek, who clears. Bit of pressure here. Magic stayed out wide. Chance to reload this one. Swings it in, and Larkin is always favourite.
Yeah. Not a great cross, but not one of Magic's strengths, I would have thought, getting balls into the penalty area from areas like that.
Interesting to see him getting that far forward out there on the right-hand side.
Well, he sort of burst onto the ball and brought it forward and then just stayed there. And he got a couple of balls into the penalty area, but unfortunately not with the requisite quality.
1-1 as the rain starts up again. It's been on and off all afternoon. It's just added to the occasion, Steve.
April showers. Lovely. Need the rain. We need the rain, Russ.
Always.
Dry the pitches.
It's actually played reasonably okay, hasn't it? It's been a bit slippery for the players, but Constantinou sends out forward. That's a good firm header from Slavic. But Kolbataldo received it from Katanac. Now he's spread the play. Reeve will take on Gaia. We've been at it all afternoon, these two. Habtemariam. John's the option. Fires it across. Chance here. And McLaughlin couldn't get enough on it and kind of scooped it in the end towards goal. And easy save for Larkin.
I mean, there's certainly Olympic.
So I see they've got it back again. Faust from Ehegi bursting into the penalty area. Ehegi tracking back. Here's Habtemariam. Space for Olympic all of a sudden. Some of these passes coming off. Faust swings it in and defensively needs to be strong, and it's Walsh who's got rid of it.
Yeah, certainly the crossing hasn't been of great quality, and it's playing into Tuggeranong's hands if they don't think of an alternative to the cross. But they're getting some joy down Ahsoka Hagee's and Gaia's side. And Wiedeker has had a couple of good runs too, so there might be something in there for Olympic.
Little 1-2s and the triangles that they've been trying coming off all of a sudden.
Yeah, and McLaughlin should have done better, shouldn't he, in the chance they did create.
I mean, in his defence, I guess the ball came on to him pretty quickly, but someone of his ilk who is known for his goal scoring does come up with a few. Here's Magic.
But the ball is going to come in a pace in the penalty area, so you've got to be on your toes.
Katanac. Here is McLaughlin. Good pressure from Murray. We're forced to go all the way back to Rene. We'll start again with Magic. Kolbataldo. Nice turn in the middle of the park. Can he slide a ball through? Looked for Wiedeker, and defensively Slavic has done well again. Looked like a good fullback, Andrew Slavic, today.
He's done well. Done really well.
Once I say that, he gives the ball away. Here's Magic. Wiedeker. Rene.
Good ball.
Since the Olympic have stepped up a gear here, up to Merriam. McLaughlin. It's an overload on that right-hand side if they use it.
That's a poor ball.
He's looked for Habtemariam. That probably wasn't the option. Reeve was standing in acres of space.
Yeah, it looked the obvious, didn't it?
But they're suddenly getting a lot of joy.
I think they've got on top. Tuggeranong had a really good spell start of the second half, but Olympic have come really strongly back into it, and certainly in the wide areas they've caused Tuggeranong some problems. Just haven't got the quality or the people into the box in the right spots with the right finish.
The passing's improved as well.
The passing has improved.
Latest score still from Nijong. It's still 2-0 down there. Tigers 2, Panthers 0. No change there, no change here. Both sides will be looking to win this one. I don't think they'll be content with a draw.
No, I don't think we're finished with the attacking football by any stretch.
Yardridge to Murray. Rene got a foot in. Walsh. Sweeping ball from Walsh, looking for Ehegi. First time we've seen him in an attacking sense this half, and off he goes. Still going, Ehegi dancing his way through, goes down, wins a free kick.
Yeah, I think
nudged off his strides.
I think Olympic are complaining that Kolbataldo has been pulled up for a foul, and I don't think it was him. I think it was Megic prior to the ball getting to Kolbataldo.
I think he was just nudged off his stride, wasn't he, as he was running through?
Yeah.
Now this is a dangerous position. Top of the D, Steve. Shane Murray territory.
This is Shane Murray territory for sure.
Let's see what he's got. Just saying that Olympic were looking the more likely, and Constantinou needs to be on his toes here.
Yeah. Next goal, absolutely crucial, I think.
Well, I'd be very surprised if it's not the diminutive Irish midfielder having a pop from this range. He's placed the ball down very deliberately. The referee's going to march this ball back a few more yards, I think. Not going to get away with that 5-yard wall.
No. There's plenty in it.
Yep. Every single blue shirt is back there, bar Jeremy Habtemariam, who's on the halfway line, and Michael John actually as well. Left two up front for the break. Here's Murray. What's the Irishman got? Murray for goal, but he slipped as he was striking it, and that meant he couldn't get the requisite curl, and it faded away from goal.
Anticlimax. Just when we were expecting a little bit of magic, we get a slip
I think
and a goal kick.
The turf not helping him there. Tim Bobolas about to join the fray.
This is interesting.
Still got that heavily strapped quad.
Yeah. Who do they take off here? Tim, you'd think, would go into a back three position, but it may well be Reeves that comes off.
Could be, or young Faust.
Well, he's done so well. Would you take him off?
Probably not. I think he's looked likely going forward. He's got the pace to stick with Heggie defensively. And if there's any lingering injury left over from that quad, you don't want to be stretching it against that. Here's Murray looking for Heggie. Here's an example of what I was talking about. Off he goes. And Faust has stayed with him, but Heggie's got there. There's 3 shots to pick in the area. It's going to break towards Colbertaldo, who goes in with Chirek, and the flag must go up here. Miles offside.
He was indeed.
So here is the change. It's going to be Vidica, maybe, is it? Is he just jogging down here, or is he just taking up a position? No, he's just taking up a position.
It is Michael Reeves.
So it is Reeves, so it'll be interesting to see whether Faust moves forward, or... So it is, I think you heard it there.
Yeah.
Nick on the wing. The secret code shouted out across Greenway.
Yeah, don't tell the opposition what we're doing.
So Tim Bobolas comes on. Nice to see him back in action, Steve.
Yeah. Very, very good defender, Timmy Bobolas.
We saw him limp off against Woden Western. And here's for his return.
And we get to see a little bit more of Nicky Faust in a more attacking spot.
Which is where he started that Woden Western game, wasn't it? As an attacking force. Here's Colbertaldo. He's drifted in and out this half. Hasn't had quite the influence he had in the first half. Rene, good ball to Vidica, who can't quite take that in stride.
He's still been one of the better footballers on display, hasn't he? His passing is good. He goes past people. And
he's had the biggest influence, I think, on the proceedings, hasn't he?
Yeah. Some of it in a little bit of a negative sense, because when he's gotten forward, he's left gaping holes behind it. Not necessarily his problem, but it has caused some dramas for them on the break.
Tuggeranong warming up, a couple of substitutes as well. Eddie Coggan, maybe. Another throw-in on this near side. Steve, halfway through this half, where do you think this is going to be won?
Well, I think from an Olympic perspective, the wide areas are giving them most joy. I think Colbertaldo and Cadanak have to be a little bit more involved in an attacking sense. And I think Faust playing further forward will help. From a Tuggeranong perspective, I think it's on the break. They've got to be content to just sit back a little bit and catch them on the break. And it may well be that they'll take the draw anyway, but they can win the game if they can catch Olympic when they're a little disorganised.
Rene gives it away.
Now. Yeah.
Well, here's a chance to do just that. Jadric bringing it forward, goes for one from distance. He saw Konstantinov his line, and it was always drifting, and I think the goalkeeper had it covered. It looks a lot closer than it was. But
it was a cheeky attempt, but I think Konstantinov had a
great effort from Jadric, and I think that's the last we're going to see of him as well. That would have been some departure.
Yeah.
He's done well there, Josip Jadric.
He's done really well. He's had a great game. He's worked hard, and he had a good chance in the second half, didn't he, with a little side foot volley that rolled past the post.
I'll tell you what, if that had gone in, he would have just run himself off. Straight down into the changing room, got changed, jumped in his car and gone home. Well, Eddie Coggan, he played in the under-20s earlier on. Different type of forwards. This one's breaking for Vidica. McLaughlin to Vidica again. Rene. John in space. Peeled out to this flank. Swings it in, and it was good looking ball that was cleared by Walsh.
But again, it's the quality of the cross that's letting them down.
This is Barisic. Tried to slide it through. He's dropped into a more midfield role now. Coggan going to play out on this wing as well, Steve?
Yeah. But Barisic has sort of been quiet. He took his goal really well, but he's really been quiet since then. One great cross for the Jadric chance, but hasn't made a major contribution this half.
Bobolas sends that one forward. This opportunity as King sends it right back again.
He's got a free kick here.
Well, he's got a free kick out of it, yeah. Not sure how that works, but anyway, Tuggeranong have the ball back. It's a Heggie. Murray. The switch was on briefly.
I'm sacking Heptamarian. I've gone off him.
King. Slavic. Chirek. Walsh to send it forward, looking for Coggin. You might get him behind him, but just skips away off the turf.
Difficult balls, those. Difficult balls. Straight down the line. I mean, they're always going to give the goalkeeper a chance.
Constantini wasting no time in sending that one forward. Bobolus is challenging with a Heggie. Falls for Gaia. Gives it away. Chance for Faust, maybe. Tried to send it forward. Walsh got there. And that's well worked out by Walsh, Murray and Chirek. And it's Murray looking for the run of Coggin, who stayed on side here. Can he find a delivery? It's bounced off of Renee and it almost dropped for Sokowski. McLaughlin slips as well. Is Murray going to get away from Colbertaldo, and untimely slip from Vidica, and good challenge from Renee. Katnach.
Midfield's a vacant area at the moment for both teams.
We think if anyone wants to stamp their authority in there, they could win this match. Walsh. Barisic almost tried to slide that one through.
If it isn't Colbertaldo, then Megic has really put his hand up for man of the match honours here. He's had a really strong game.
No, that was him just finding Haptamariam. He's pushing himself further forward at the moment, trying to make things happen in an attacking sense. Walsh does well again. Touch from Sokowski is loose. Bobolus. Haptamariam. Still going Haptamariam. Finds John, who tried to find the return pass, but didn't come off. Now here's a Heggie. Nicely done, and looking for the runner Sokowski. Again, perfectly placed magic.
But they just look to run out of ideas. Trying to get it into MJ, a straight ball and link up, and it's not working for him. And Tuggeranong defensively strong.
Is Murray, Coggin rather, beaten to it.
Yeah, he needs to be strong. That's just a waste.
And that's the
absolute waste. He's tried that 3 or 4 times and it hasn't worked.
Misplaced pass from Danny Colbertaldo. It's got a bit sloppy the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Here's Barisic.
I think we're looking for a little bit of individual brilliance. Oh.
Advantage, says the referee, and then he goes back to give the free kick with Nana Cruz. A couple of further changes, maybe. I can
never understand.
The youngsters, maybe,
why.
Steve.
Oh yeah, there's certainly need for a change. I think some fresh legs on from both sides, but I can't understand why players, when they're given a free kick, have to get up and have a go at the referee.
50 minutes to go. No added goals to the half-time score, where it was 1-1. Big result coming in from the Women's Premier League. Canberra Olympic 2, Monero Panthers 3. First win for Monero Panthers, and Canberra Olympic, who started the season with 3 straight wins in the Women's Premier League, have now lost their last 2.
Good result for Monero. They'll be really pleased with that.
First of the season for them. Yeah. Very young side that Ian Worthington's got over at the Riverside Stadium, and a big win for them, and that might kickstart their season as well. What it does do is put Belconnen in a really strong position.
Yeah. I mean, Belconnen have been the dominant women's side for the last 4 or 5 years, probably longer, but last year's grand final sort of suggested that maybe the other teams were catching up, but again, they've started really well this year, Belconnen, and there's no reason why they wouldn't go on with it.
They won 1-0 last night against Canberra United Academy. Goal from Jesse Rashart, with time running out there, giving them 3 more points. And Belconnen's women's team, very much like this Olympic men's team, they always find a way somewhere, Steve.
Yeah.
Even if they're not playing well. Yeah. Can Olympic do the same? Here's Katanach looking for John. He's got in here. Michael John, goal side, bears down on goal and does find a way. Past Rory Larkin. Michael John gives Canberra Olympic the lead. Once he got in, he never looked like missing. Stunning finish, 2-1.
Yeah, great finish, great ball in. Robbie Katanach picked up the ball late and then played Michael John in with a well-weighted pass, and his finish at the near post gave Larkin no chance. I mean, Tuggeranong claiming offside, but he looked well on to me, and it's a good goal, really good goal. It's the first sort of, in the last 5 minutes anyway, the first piece of quality we've seen from Canberra.
What was good, Steve, was the way he stayed on his feet as well once he rode the challenge, backed himself, picked his spot, and unerringly finished past Larkin.
But that's the sort of thing that MJ's capable of, and probably more so than Giampala, who he replaced through the injury. And that put Olympic in a really strong position with probably the best part of 15 to go.
Tuggeranong staring down the barrel of a first defeat of the season. What have they got in response? Bear in mind, this is a very different Tuggeranong side to the ones of previous years, Steve. This has got a bit of spine about them, this team, haven't they? And there's a fair bit about them.
I mean, the game's not over yet, but even if they weren't to win this game, I don't think that it would put them out of their stride too much. They'll be disappointed, clearly, but they can bounce back and will. They look a very, very well-organised outfit, and they've given as good as they got today, and they've just been unfortunate to be on the end of a really good finish.
Ball's flicked forward, and it's one in the air by Walsh. Murray and McLaughlin clash again, and that's possibly handball against Wiedeke. It definitely took his arm. Frank Keisha's not happy. Murray looks to take the free kick, and he goes early, but from the wrong spot.
I mean, unbelievable. How can the referee know exactly where it needs to be? It certainly wasn't where he stood, where the handball took place. Just let him play.
Well, that's changed the complexion of the game, Steve, that goal.
Well, it gives Olympic something to hang on to, and Tuggeranong something to chase. So don't be surprised if Tuggeranong come flying out of the blocks to try and get this equaliser and put tremendous amounts of pressure on this Olympic back three.
Slavic, bit loose, does well in the end to recover.
Yeah.
His first touch just escaped him. Not the first person that's happened to today.
But a good test of character for this Tuggeranong side.
Let's see if they can step up and get themselves back into this match. We're going to see Ali Sarwan soon. Here's Katanach. Well, he got caught late there and Coggan down the back of his heel, I think.
Maybe. Didn't see it.
Yeah, huge scream from Robbie Katanach. He's not the kind of person to stay down unless he's hurt. And there was a big scream, wasn't there?
There was. And John Turek has actually shown some sort of concern for his opponent there.
Yeah, I didn't quite see him. It was Turek that left a foot in trying to win the ball, and it didn't sound good from where we are, and he's not moved.
No, if
in a
he's rolled
heap there.
His ankle and let's just raked his studs down the Achilles or something like that.
I think that was probably what it was, the latter you said there, Steve. I think he definitely felt it down the back of the studs. And that's not like Robbie Katanach, is it, to stay down if he's not hurt. He gingerly limps away from that one.
The referee didn't see much in it, that's for sure.
Maybe his eyes were off it as well, because it was just out of the peripheral vision that I caught something a little bit late, which is, well, I thought maybe it was Coggan that was involved, but in fact it may have been Turek. Anyway, this is the end of the game for Ollie Wiedeke, and we're going to see young Ali Sarwan here.
A little surprised to take him off. Maybe he was just getting a little fatigued. I thought maybe Habtemariam, who's drifted out of the game since a really good start, might have been a candidate for substitution, and certainly you've got Katanach limping around in the middle of the park.
Well, they better hope that Katanach is okay, because that's the third substitution.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't recover from that, and he is limping, not running freely by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
King to Gaia, Ihegi. He's drifted out of it in the second half, Ihegi, unfortunately for the home side.
Yeah.
Here's Habtemariam.
Come on, give me a goal.
McLaughlin. Habtemariam. Olympic happy to keep ball. Magic to Renee. John does well. Gets away from Coggan. Katanach. First touch for Sarwan. Gets himself a free kick. Tried to roll Slavic.
Went down a little easy, but probably was a free kick.
Well, and we're going to see a Tuggeranong change as well. It's Mitch Steenbergen. Or a bus defender.
It's an interesting change.
Was this young Matt King?
Defender for a defender. at 2-1 down.
Well, interesting to see what happens here. Steenbergen's dropping into the right fullback role.
It just looks like for like, in effect.
All they've done is shuffle some players across a little. Anyway, dead ball situation
and a man with an umbrella.
Robbie Katnach. Yeah, he's pitch invasion to fetch a stray ball from the field and game on the other side. Katnach to take the free kick. Not many Olympic shirts to aim for. Swings it towards the far post. Sawan was challenging. He's never going to beat Gar in the air, though. And off goes Marco Gar. Shows strength and power to bring it forward. Sawan snapping at his heels, though. Showing good energy, the substitute, as you'd expect. Off goes Gar, though. He's still going. He's running 3 kilometres there, I think. And wins himself a free kick.
Yeah, he did well. Great run. That sort of inspirational mood that Tuggeranong are looking for at the moment. But the signs of perhaps Olympics' intentions are they only put 2 people in the box for that free kick.
Tuggeranong has certainly got more than that. There's 4 to aim for. Plus Barisic loitering short here, outside the area. They've gone from Murray. He's going to get it back, and he's gone down. I think he was fouled by the ref there.
I think he did run into the referee then.
Colbertaldo. That's definitely a yellow card for Bruno Kell. Brought him down. Here's Faust.
They can get a switch in and yeah, that's what they're looking for.
He's looked for it. He's not quite got it right, though, and Larkins opts for the throw and launches it towards halfway, and it's a good touch from Slavic. Sokowski tried to find him, the midfielder again, and trouble in the middle of the park. Barisic runs into Habtemariam. He tries to turn him, but Barisic does well.
Yeah, he came again, but Habtemariam had the chance to then take him out of the game completely and just wanted to dwell on it a little bit, but all credit to the Tuggeranong boy.
The home side looking for a way back into the game. The league leaders trailing 2-1 here live on Bar TV Sports. Canberra Olympics' second goal scored by Michael John to give them the lead in the second half is Katnach. Seems to be recovered. Here's the ball towards Sarwan. It's going to fall, though, for Faust, who strikes it, and Heggie did well after initially letting it roll to block the ball. Bobolus. He's given it away as well, but Heggie can't keep it in.
Hasn't been his day today, has it, Heggie?
Started brightly, didn't he? And then he's kind of faded out of it.
Yeah. I mean, he did really well for the goal, but...
it's a long throw towards Sarwan, who just clipped it on its way towards goal. Not a bad idea from the young sub.
Yeah, better option, I think, to bring it down and wait for support.
Larkin hoists it towards Sokowski, who's had no change out of Magic all day.
Been excellent, Magic, excellent.
In the absence of Nick Bobolus, they've needed a leader to step up in the back there, and he's certainly shown that, hasn't he? Murray.
But the back three have done really well. Faust, when he was there, had a good game. Bernie Raday hasn't done much wrong. And Magic, I think, has been exemplary.
Look at that. That's Michael John back there, Steve, as well, tracking back.
Well, you're playing three at the back. That's what people have got to do, because they've pushed him into a wider area since Sawan come on. So he's going to have to do a little bit of that tracking.
Yeah, not afraid to put the hard yards in.
Well, I guess if you're sitting on the bench and you want to get your spot back, you're going to have to work hard as well as play well. And he's done that. And he's got him the winner as well. So,
the one that's put them in front at the moment is Colbertaldo.
Right. Getting ahead of myself.
There may be more to come, Steve. Faust. Walsh clears, and it's going to be a corner to Olympic. Don't think there'll be any rush to take this, or B, sending too many numbers forward.
But I think, Magic has been good for Olympic. Then you can say the same for Regan Walsh at the back for Tuggeranong. He's in a really strong game himself.
He's one of those players that you don't notice him too much because he does his job effectively every time he's on the field.
Bit of a quiet achiever. He looks a little fitter this year as well. He at Gungahlin last year, he looked like he was just struggling for fitness a bit.
And stepping up into the responsibility that he's been afforded here. Here's McLaughlin into the area. Ball in was cleared by Barisic, and it's going to bounce around in the middle of the park. Colbertaldo takes over. Nice switch to John. He's got the runner ahead of him, who's Sarwan. Goes himself, though. Michael John still going, and he's just bundled over by Steenberg, and that was fairly unceremoniously pushed to the grounds. Yeah.
But this is playing straight into Olympics' hands. They don't mind. This is where they want the ball. Yeah. As we sort of get to the dying embers, and he's MJ a little bit too quick, a little bit too technical for Steenbergen.
Free kick to Olympic. Just on the edge of the penalty area. 2.5 minutes to go plus stoppage time. Jeremy Habtemariam is behind this. Swung in just too far. Faust. Katanach, edge of the penalty area. Clips it in. Chance for Sarwan, but he can't direct his volley towards goal again. Didn't get enough on it.
They've had a couple of chances in and around that area, haven't they? The finishing has quite been up to scratch.
Another good opportunity, though, for Olympic to put this one to bed. It may be to bed down in Nijong, where it's now Tigers 3, Monero Panthers 0. Tony Matafari with the third goal of the afternoon for the Tigers.
And that gives them their first 3 points, I think.
Yeah, depending on obviously the outcome of the administration part thing, yeah. It's first 3 points on the pitch and a clean sheet as well, which will please Gabby Wilk if it stays that way.
Absolutely.
Here's Sarwan looking to add a third for Olympic. Swings it in towards Katanach. He's not going to get there. Falls to Habtemariam, though. This is a chance. Takes too long there.
Yeah. But retain possession.
Yeah. John. No rush to get this one in the area. Habtemariam plays it off of the ref. And cleared defensively by Barisic.
To their credit, Olympic, I mean, they haven't pushed a lot of bodies forward, but it's not as if they're going to corners and holding things up and just playing for time. They've actually tried to score again. So full credit to them. And that,
is that young...
in a way, it's just kept Tuggeranong on the back foot, hasn't it?
Is that Faust down with a bit of cramp?
Yes, I think it is.
Yeah. Not surprised. He's been up and down that touchline. Just have to get this one off. Bit of words of encouragement from Magic at the back for the young fullback come winger. And it's a Tuggeranong throw. And Steenbergen will want to get on with this quickly. Too quickly, in fact. He's giving it away to Cole Bataldo. Sarwan. Shooting chance for Sarwan, and he's let that one run across his body and didn't strike it as hard or as with as much direction as you would have wanted.
But at least he made the goalkeeper chase, and if you are just happy with the 2-1, then waste a bit of time.
Yeah, we're coming in.
Good move. Cole Bataldo did well. Good pass.
Coming into stoppage time, Steve, and Olympic leading by 2-1. Barisic helps it on its way. Sirkovsky. Now Murray. Bit wider than he would have wanted to go. But can he put this into the danger area? Clips it into the box. John's in there, the head of those from Barisic, and that's harmless enough.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't a great ball in. I mean, he's only found him on the head on the edge of the box. I don't know what you expected to do from there, but it wasn't a great header anyway.
Constantino will be in no rush to take this goal kick. Sends it towards halfway. Habtemariam's the target. Beaten by Steenbergen. The Olympic will have the throw. On the balance, Steve, if they deserve the 3 points if it stays this way?
I don't think you can argue with it. The Tuggeranong have been full participants in this game. Olympic have probably created the better chances in the second half, and on that basis alone perhaps deserve to be in front. I don't think that the result is going to sort of dampen Tuggeranong's, if it stays this way, enthusiasm for the rest of the season. But yeah, I'm happy that Olympic 2-1 in front on the balance of play.
Yeah, they've deserved it on the balance. They've got themselves a free kick here. Michael John goes early with it because he saw Katanach in some space. Sarwan has made the run into the channel. Walsh has gone across to meet him and did enough to put the striker off. Larkin doesn't want to risk picking it up though in case it was construed as a back pass, so did well to find Walsh. Ihegi, has he got some magic left up his sleeve? Turn the ball over though. Cole Bataldo does well to win the throw. Time ticking away here at Greenway.
So I suppose if Tuggeranong are thinking that they've missed Padgett, then Olympic might argue that Popovic the two Bobulus boys who haven't played a full part. Losing Giampaolo, they might argue something similar.
Sarwan finds Catanach. Could they put it to bed here? Robbie Catanach does put it to bed. A third goal for Canberra Olympic seals the points in stoppage time. They've come here chasing the league leaders and they're hunting them down. It's Tuggeranong 1, Olympic 3.
And all down to Robbie Catanach. He's been relatively quiet second half. We thought he needed to play a little bit higher, but give him half a chance and he can put the game to bed. 3-1 is a little flattering, I think, and a little harsh on Tuggeranong, but nonetheless, Olympic, and we said just earlier that they haven't just sat on their laurels, they've actually pushed for that third goal, and now they've got it.
Traditionally tricky fixture for them, and they've come here and negotiated it and put themselves right back into contention. Have Tuggeranong got something for their supporters left up the sleeves? Here's a Hagi. Bobulus, we've seen that before, and he comes and clears. Gaia. He's put a shift in today, hasn't he?
Has, yeah, he's tried his heart out, the boy. Hasn't got a lot out of it, but you know, him and Faust up and down from fullback spots have been wonderful to watch. And in the end, Olympic have won the battle, have they not?
They certainly have. The final whistle is gone, and it was those goals in the second half that's done it for them. Michael John and Robbie Catanach. And Steve, we said on the balance they probably deserved it. Tuggeranong, though, won't be too disheartened. They'll be disappointed,
yes,
but they're still in with a good shout.
Oh, look, they're still in pole position, and you'd rather be where they are than where some of the other teams are that have struggled at the start of the season. Sooner or later you lose games, and it's how you bounce back, and I've seen enough in Tuggeranong's performance today and in previous weeks to suggest that they will bounce back quite well.
That was my next question, Steve. Will they bounce back? Next week they go to Gungahlin United. They'll look at that and say, well, that's a game for us to go back, to bounce back from.
Look, I think they can. I mean, Gungahlin got their first point as well yesterday, but have struggled at the start of the season, and I think Tuggeranong in the current form they're in will be looking at Gungahlin and thinking that's 3 points we need to get if we are going to be a success this year. But all credit to them, they tried hard today. They worked hard for each other. They've shown enough to say that they can be a threat to the top four and in the top four. But all credit to Olympic as well, because at the end of the day, their quality has stood out. The individual quality of MJ, Michael John and Robbie Catanach has got them the points.
Looking at the league table, that's certainly opened it up a bit. Tuggeranong played 4 12 points, then Canberra FC played 3 9 points, Olympic played 4 9 points, Riverina played 4 6 points. So Canberra Olympic back in it, and Canberra FC, of course, they're still unbeaten. They'll be the subject of our match next week against Tigers FC. Interesting to see how they go. They got a win yesterday, and Canberra Olympic play Riverina Rhinos next week as well. So they'll feel that they can bounce back and push themselves back into title contention.
Yeah, look, it's an interesting part of the season because it's just establishing itself now after 4 or 5 games. Olympic are in good form following that stuttering start and loss against Monera. Tuggeranong have still got 12 points. And out of the first 5 games, if you'd have said at the start of the season that Tuggeranong you can have 12 points, they'd have snatched their hands off. So they'll be delighted with their start to the season, but they do now need to consolidate next week and get something out of the game with Gungahlin.
Thanks for your company again, Steve. Always a pleasure to commentate with you here. Well, Greenway was the venue, and Tuggeranong United went into the match top of the table, leading the way, and they knew they'd stay there no matter what the result was this afternoon. They took the lead after 17 minutes through Mate Barisic, and all was looking rosy for them. But that lead only lasted 2 minutes. Daniel Colbertaldo's wonder strike from range brought Olympic back level, and that set the foundations for the second half, where goals from substitute Michael John and a stoppage time third from Robbie Catanach brought the Canberra Olympic the 3 points. It finished at Greenway, Tuggeranong 1, Canberra Olympic 3.